Venezuela's presidential election and economic crisis. Election controversy. In Venezuela's presidential election, both President Nicolas Maduro and opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia claimed victory. National Electoral Council (CNE) announced that Maduro won with over 51% of the vote. Opposition's claim asserted that Urrutia won with 70% of the vote. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado declared that there were violations during the election process and refused to accept the results. If Maduro succeeds in securing another term, it will mark his third term in office, continuing the Chavismo regime that began in 1999. The United States and several Latin American countries have expressed serious concerns about the election results, calling for transparency and fairness. Conversely, some of Venezuela's allies have congratulated Maduro on his victory. Venezuela has been experiencing a severe economic crisis in recent years, and Maduro blames foreign sanctions for the country's economic woes. This election is a critical moment for Venezuela, as the results will determine the future of its democracy and economic recovery. Causes of Venezuela's economic crisis. Venezuela's economic crisis is the result of several factors acting together. Here is an engaging and detailed explanation of how this crisis began and developed. The glorious oil era. Once upon a time, Venezuela was the jewel of South America, thanks to its vast oil reserves. Oil exports brought immense wealth, and the people enjoyed economic prosperity. Venezuelans proudly referred to their country as the Saudi Arabia of South America. However, this prosperity did not last long. Disastrous price controls and exchange rate policies. The Maduro government implemented strict price controls to stabilize the economy. For instance, at one point, a whole chicken could be bought for a very low price. The catch? Finding that chicken in stores was nearly impossible, akin to finding a needle in a haystack. On the black market, the same chicken sold for exorbitant prices. Additionally, the government suppressed exchange rates, worsening the foreign currency shortage. These flawed economic policies led to severe shortages of goods and the flourishing of the black market. The onset of hyperinflation. Believing that printing more money would revive the economy, the Maduro administration flooded the market with currency. The result was the opposite of what they intended. The value of the bolivar plummeted, and the prices of essential goods skyrocketed. For example, at one point, a cup of coffee cost millions of bolivars. People started carrying bags of cash for everyday purchases. It even became a darkly humorous situation where people made crafts out of the worthless currency. Collapse of the oil industry. The sharp drop in oil prices hit Venezuela's economy hard. The country was overly dependent on oil revenues and had no contingency plan for such a price decline. Moreover, the state-owned oil company PDVSA suffered from poor management and lack of investment, reducing its production capacity. While oil remains Venezuela's main resource, its value and impact are significantly diminished. Corruption and inefficient government operations. The Maduro government became infamous for its corruption. Public funds were siphoned off, and high-ranking officials lived in luxury while citizens struggled to find basic necessities. Inefficiently run state enterprises further exacerbated the economic crisis. International sanctions and isolation. The United States and other Western countries imposed economic sanctions on Venezuela, citing human rights abuses and undemocratic actions by the Maduro regime. These sanctions severely impacted Venezuela's key export sectors, particularly the oil industry. Frozen overseas assets and restricted financial transactions made it difficult for the government to secure funds. Social unrest and emigration. The economic crisis led to social instability. Violence and crime rates increased, and many people fled the country in search of better living conditions. This mass exodus resulted in labor shortages and population decline within Venezuela. Political repression. Maduro's regime cracked down on political opponents, controlled the media, and obstructed free elections. This regression in democracy led to a loss of trust from the international community. Venezuela's economic crisis is a complex issue caused by flawed economic policies, corruption, international sanctions, the collapse of the oil industry, and more. Maduro's re-election has further deepened this crisis, leaving Venezuelans to endure extreme economic hardship and social instability.